Quinn reporting there for you. As you can see, it's this time, newspaper time on the programme. Diptyque Laurent is joining me for a look through the newspapers. A lot of outrage, Dipty, inevitably, I suppose, about this weekend's chemical attack on the suburbs of Douma in Syria's capital, Damascus.
That's right, a suspected chemical attack that aid groups say have killed dozens of people, including many children. And as we'll see in a minute, a lot of those kids are making the front pages of the papers around the world. This attack has sparked global condemnation. That's what Arab News, a Saudi daily, reports. They're going with one such harrowing picture of young kids trying to breathe after that suspected chemical attack. The paper's opinion writer, his name is Faisal Abbas, says the attack has all the hallmarks of the Assad regime, including the, quote, callous disregard for civilian life. The only way forward, he says, is through greater involvement on the ground in Syria, urging Donald Trump not to withdraw U.S. troops as he's threatened to do so.
Now, you found quite a lot of anger as well, haven't you, from cartoonists?
Well, that's right. A lot of the cartoonists, including this one from a Syrian cartoonist, are depicting this situation. In this cartoon, you see Bashar al-Assad lying in a pool of blood, and that pool of blood is actually the map of Syria, being held afloat on either arm thanks to the Iranian and Russian flags, as you see there, basking in the shade of the U.S., while his trunks there bear the UN flag on it. Indeed, the UN will be convening yet another emergency meeting today. There is a lot of cynicism too. It'll be much of the same response from the Syrian leader at that UN meeting. Here you see him taking a leaf out of Putin's guide to international politics. It has nothing to do with me, Assad says. It's an international conspiracy.
Okay, foreign papers now. We saw it just a second ago. Here it is. This is the Times of London. They're talking about this as well, aren't they?
That's right. The U.S. President Donald Trump is warning the Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad that he'll pay for this attack, as you see there from the front page of the British daily The Times. Worth noting that this picture has made a lot of the front pages of the British dailies. This horrible picture of an injured child trying to breathe through that mask. The editors at the French Catholic paper La Croix say French President Emmanuel Macron is finding himself in a difficult position now. He's previously said the use of chemical weapons in Syria is a red line for him not to be crossed. Well, that line has been crossed now. So what does he do? If he sanctions the Assad government, well, he'll be entering a war that he's largely not been a part of up to now. If he does nothing, he could look powerless. So it's sort of a lose-lose situation for him.
Let's move on to something different. Attention now on the Saudi Prince Mohammad bin Salman in France as part of his charm offensive on the West.
He arrived on Sunday and he'll be here for the next 2 days. His official visit begins today. Paris is bringing out the royal treatment, Paris en Prince, for the Saudi prince and his contract. So says Libération, the left-leaning paper. This visit will also see him hopefully discuss hot-button issues like the Yemen war, conflict in Iran, Syria and Lebanon. It'll be a risky bet, though. That's what Les Echos, the business paper, says. A risky bet, at least for France, because hedging bets on deals with the Saudis, as they're hoping to do, could risk enraging the kingdom's mortal enemy, Iran, with whom France also has deals.
You've been having a look at the Saudi press, haven't you? There's a lot of focus there on a major deal that the two countries are expected to sign.
Well, this is interesting. Saudi Arabia and France, alliance and partnership. That's what Okaz, a Saudi paper, says on its front page. And they're looking at a huge tourism deal that the two countries are expected to sign. In particular, France is helping the Saudis develop a cultural and nature-focused tourism site in the northwest of Saudi Arabia that they say is sort of a park that will be about the size of Belgium, hoping to draw tourists to the desert and mountain landscapes of the country, worth $100 billion. A
lot more than that, in fact, in the next half hour. Amnesty International, in the meantime, they're hoping Macron will focus on Saudi Arabia's appalling human rights record.
Well, it's actually, I wanted to show you this. This is a double-page from Libération today, and it's a campaign, or it's an ad that Amnesty International has taken out, urging Macron to talk about the death penalty and Saudi Arabia's human rights record. This shocking picture here, you see a person being hanged. Mr. Macron, it is worth talking about this. That's cela en vaut la peine. It's actually a play on words, because this phrase also means it merits punishment. Amnesty reminds us that Saudi Arabia is the third biggest country when it comes to executing prisoners.
Something a bit lighter to end on with in the press review. The Hollywood actor Russell Crowe has auctioned off his prized possessions to finance his divorce. Wasn't it?
I know you're married, so I hope it never comes to this.
I wouldn't have many prized possessions to auction, so...
The quirky Russell Crowe, he's quirky, let's be honest. He's been busy auctioning off his valuables at in Sydney this weekend, according to the New Zealand website Stuff, because Russell Crowe is, of course, New Zealand-born. He sold off many prized possessions, including this violin that you see on the right of the screen, a 128-year-old Italian violin that he learned to play in just a few months for his role in the film Master and Commander. It sold off for, there you see, 143,000 New Zealand dollars. That's about 90,000 euros. Interestingly, it was a very festive auction. It took place on his birthday. There was a Sydney actress that sang happy birthday to him. He kind of came out and saluted the crowd. He even called the auction the art of divorce. Certainly an art, because it netted him a cool 2.3 million euros.
Wow.
Should be enough, I hope, for him to finally earn his marital freedom.
Hopefully. It's all a big stage, isn't it, doing that in such a public way. Interesting stuff anyway. Thank you very much, Dipti with the papers here on France 24.